chair amidst acclamation, Dr. Sinha read out the goodwill messages received from different countries. After the chairman's inaugural address and the nomination of a deputy chairman, the members were formally requested to present their credentials. The first day's proceedings ended after all the 207 members submitted their credentials and signed the register. The second meeting of the Constituent Assembly was on 11th December 1946, wherein the Assembly appointed Dr. Rajendra Prasad as its president, H.C. Mukherjee as its vice chairman, and B.N. Rao as constitutional legal advisor. In the third meeting, on 13th December 1946, the Constituent Assembly formally commenced its task of framing the Constitution of India. On this day, the Objectives Resolution was introduced, which aimed to declare India as an independent sovereign republic and create a constitution to govern its future. The resolution established general principles to guide the work of the Constituent Assembly. Subsequently, on January 22, 1947, the Constituent Assembly unanimously endorsed this resolution, officially adopting it as the preamble of the Constitution, embodying its core principles. Jyohar Ram Manohar Sinha of Jabalpur designed the page of preamble along with other pages of the Constitution of India. In its debate on October 17, 1949, the Constituent Assembly discussed key issues such as India's name and whether to include references to God and Gandhi. There were also proposals to include the term secular, notably from Professor K.T. Shah in November 1948. However, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar rejected this, arguing that the Constitution already guaranteed a secular state by ensuring non-discrimination based on religion and equal rights for all citizens. Ambedkar also opposed including the term socialist, as he believed it would be undemocratic for the Constitution to prescribe the type of the society for India. In the end, the Assembly accepted the preamble as drafted by drafting committee, maintaining its original vision while allowing for future amendments. The preamble was later amended by the 42nd Amendment Act of 1976, marking a significant moment in history, as it was for the first time the preamble witnessed an amendment. The amendment introduced the terms Sovereign Socialist Secular Democratic Republic, replacing Sovereign Democratic Republic, and modified Unity of the Nation to Unity and Integrity of the Nation. As it was clear opined in the Kesavananda Bharati judgment in 1973, that the Supreme Court ruled that preamble can be amended provided it does not alter the basic structure of the Constitution. The 13-judge bench declared the preamble to be part of the Constitution. While it does not hold supreme authority, it serves as a guiding principle for interpreting statutes and constitutional provisions. On 22nd July 1947, the national flag was adopted in its present form. After the first session of the Constituent Assembly, several committees were formed to examine different aspects of the Constitution, with much of the deliberation centered on the draft Constitution prepared by the drafting committee. Members proposed amendments to the chairman in advance, which were then debated and either accepted or rejected by a majority vote. The Assembly established 13 committees to oversee various facets of constitution making, with 8 major committees and 5 minor ones. These included Drafting Committee, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar; Union Powers Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru. Union Constitution Committee, Jawaharlal Nehru. Provincial Constitution Committee, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. Advisory Committee on Fundamental Rights, Minorities and Tribal and Excluded Areas, Sardar Vallabhbhai Patel. This committee had the following subcommittees. Fundamental Rights Subcommittee, J.B. Kriplani. Minority Subcommittee, Harendra Kumar Mukherjee. Northeast Frontier Tribal Areas in Assam, Excluded and Partially Excluded Areas, Subcommittee, Gopinath Bardoloi. Excluded and partially excluded areas other than those in Assam, Subcommittee, A.V. Thakkar. Rules of Procedure Committee, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. Steering Committee, Dr. Rajendra Prasad. The committee submitted their report to the Constituent Assembly between April and August 1947. During this time, the Assembly debated the recommendations. These deliberations concluded on 30th August 1947. On 29th August 1947, Satyanarayan Sinha moved a motion in the Constituent Assembly to appoint a drafting committee to scrutinize and to suggest necessary amendment to the draft Constitution of India prepared in the office of the Assembly on the basis of the decisions taken in the Assembly. The drafting committee included notable members such as B.R. Ambedkar, Dr. K.M. Munshi, Muhammad Sadullah, Aladi Krishnaswamy Iyer, N. Gopalaswamy Iyengar, D.P. Khaitan, and B.L. Mittal. Based on the reports of various committees and discussions in the Constituent Assembly, B.N. Rao, the constitutional advisor to the Constituent Assembly, prepared a draft constitution by October 1947 and submitted to the drafting committee. When the drafting committee first met on 30th August 1947, B.R. Ambedkar was elected as the chairman. Under his leadership, the committee worked intensively for over 40 days, leading to the publication of the first draft constitution in February 1948, which was shared for public discussion. On February 21st, 1948, the drafting committee submitted the draft to the President of the Constituent Assembly. Between October 1947 and February 1948, the committee carefully reviewed and refined B.N. Rao's draft, resulting in the Draft Constitution of India 1948. This document consisted of 315 articles spread across 18 parts and 8 schedules, addressing key issues like government structure, center-state relations, and citizens' rights. It is important to note that this draft was the first publicly available blueprint of the Indian Constitution. It was distributed widely among Assembly members, provincial governments, central ministries, courts, and the public for feedback. After receiving comments, the committee made amendments in March and October 1948. On November 4, 1948, B.R. Ambedkar presented the draft constitution to the Constituent Assembly, delivering a landmark speech where he provided an overview of the draft and addressed emerging controversies.
I propose to make this appeal. Let us leave aside slogans. Let us leave aside words which frighten people. Let us even make concession to the prejudices of our opponents. Bring them in so that they may willingly join with us on marching upon that road, which, as I said, if we walk long enough, must necessarily lead us to unity.
On November 15, 1948, the Constituent Assembly began a detailed examination of the draft constitution, debating each article and considering numerous amendments from both members and the drafting committee. This in-depth clause-by-clause review continued until October 17, 1949, featuring extensive debates and frequent proposals to amend or remove specific provisions, though most of these amendments were rejected.
This Constituent Assembly although it is a British creation for the time being, but once it comes into existence, it has the power, if it has the will, to assert its right and to do what is best and proper for the good of the people of India, irrespective of caste, creed, or community.
After the debates concluded without disruptions, the drafting committee revised the constitution based on the Assembly's decisions. This revision included tasks such as renumbering articles, making minor language adjustments, and adding or removing clauses. The revised draft constitution was submitted to the President of the Constituent Assembly on November 3, 1949, and was introduced in the Assembly on November 14, 1949. During the third reading of the draft constitution, which began on 17 November 1949, there were few significant debates and most discussions focused on general comments about constitution. While some members expressed satisfaction with the final version, others raised concerns. In his response, Dr. B.R. Ambedkar thanked the Constituent Assembly, the drafting committee, and key contributors like B.N. Rao and Mr. S.N. Mukherjee, the chief draftsman. After 9 days of intense discussion, the Assembly passed the draft constitution on November 26, 1949. The day is celebrated as Constitution Day. Dr. Rajendra Prasad, President of the Constituent Assembly, paid tribute to Mahatma Gandhi in his speech before the Constitution was adopted. He also gave a figure of 63,96,729 rupees as the amount spent for the Constituent Assembly's work in his last speech to the Assembly.
All that we need, all that we require is honesty of purpose, firmness of determination, a desire to understand each other's viewpoints. That is all that we shall do justice.
The members of the Constituent Assembly signed the Constitution on January 24, 1950. A total of 284 members appended their signatures to the historic document. The Constitution came into effect on January 26, 1950, marking the end of the Constituent Assembly and its transformation into the Provincial Parliament of India until the new Parliament was constituted in 1952. Notably, Sardar Hukum Singh, a member of the Shiromani Akali Dal, elected to the Constituent Assembly in April 1948, chose not to sign the draft. He felt it did not adequately address the identity and rights of the Sikh community. The historic session concluded with the signing of the national anthem by Purnima Banerjee, a veteran freedom fighter. The Assembly's approval of the Constitution was met with loud cheers, desk thumping, and chants of Vande Mataram and Bharat Mata Ki Jai. It may be noted that draft Article 306A, later Article 370, was not part of the 1948 draft Constitution, but was introduced and discussed in the Constituent Assembly on October 17, 1949. It specified that the Indian Constitution would apply to Jammu and Kashmir based on the instrument of accession granting J&K special autonomy. Despite concerns that this special status was discriminatory compared to other princely states, the Constituent Assembly adopted draft Article 306A without amendments. During this time in Parliament, Syama Prasad Mukherjee was a strong opponent of Article 370. He launched a hunger strike in protest against the Union government's policies in the state of Jammu and Kashmir. On August 6, 2019, Article 370 was repealed by a presidential order following the recommendation of both houses of parliament.
संविधान के अनुच्छेद 370(3) के अंतर्गत घोषणा भारत के संविधान के अनुच्छेद 370 के खंड 1 के साथ पठित अनुच्छेद 370 के खंड 3 द्वारा प्रदत्त शक्तियों का प्रयोग करते हुए राष्ट्रपति संसद की सिफारिश पर ये घोषणा करते हैं कि वह दिनांक जिस दिन भारत के राष्ट्रपति द्वारा इस घोषणा पर हस्ताक्षर किए जाएंगे और इसको सरकारी गजट के रूप में प्रकाशित किया जाएगा, उस दिन से उक्त अनुच्छेद 370 के सभी खंड लागू नहीं होंगे।
On January 24th, 1950, Dr. Rajendra Prasad was elected as the President of the Indian Republic in a special session in accordance with the Constitution. India officially became a republic on January 26, 1950, with the proclamation read by the last Governor General C. Rajagopalachari declaring India as a sovereign democratic republic. It was a moment and proud day for the nation. The original Constitution of India, beautifully handwritten and decorated by artists from Shantiniketan like Vyuhar Ram Manohar Sinha and Nand Lal Bose, was completed after nearly 3 years of work, including 11 sessions over 165 days. During this period, over 53,000 visitors observed the Assembly's proceedings. The Indian Constitution is renowned as one of the longest and most comprehensive written constitutions globally. It outlines the fundamental principles, government structure, and citizens' rights and duties.
Parliament of India, the state-of-the-art structure, stands as a symbol of India's progress and aspirations. Tailored to cater to the changing requirements of a contemporary time, the new Parliament building offers upgraded technological infrastructure and improved amenities for parliamentarians. As part of an initiative to make Parliament paperless, electronic tabs are now available in the lobby of the Rajya Sabha chamber. Till the 265th session of Rajya Sabha, members' signatures were collected manually in ink on the attendance register. However, in alignment with the vision of a digital parliament from the current 266th session of Rajya Sabha, their signatures are being electronically collected on tablets.
Tablet system show you.
The Constitution of India provides that if for a period of 60 days a member of either House of Parliament is without permission absent from all the meetings of the House, his or her seat may be declared vacant by the House. In view of the specific provision that has been made in the Constitution, an attendance register is maintained for members to sign against their names in token of having attended the sitting of the House on a particular day. The attendance register, which was originally introduced as an informal and convenient arrangement for marking attendance of members, is now a statutory requirement with effect from 9th June 1993, in addition to a new provision in the Salary, Allowances and Pension of Members of Parliament Act 1954. The members first need to select their names from the drop-down menu on the tablet, sign using the digital pen, and then press the submit button to confirm their attendance. There is a team of engineers from NIC at every counter for technical assistance.
I am firstly very grateful to everyone associated with the Parliament staff for moving very rapidly towards digitization. And there are many initiatives that the Parliament has taken. One most notably is that every day an MP wastes so much paper in terms of the questions, the list of business, all of that is available digitally on every MP's desk. I personally, as an MP, every morning when I sit in my chair, I scroll through the tablet online, no paper wasted. The new initiative, which has started from this session, which is a welcome initiative, is rather than signing an MP's attendance sheet, again, piece of paper, it's done digitally. A digital signature entered. So
Digital
these are good
signature.
things to make Parliament paperless, to make Parliament digital, and
Digital
to
function.
encourage
No কাগজের system
digitization
নেই।
within the MP community and through the MP community to the larger public.
The digital signature for attendance of honorable members of parliament in the Rajya Sabha is another very historic and momentous occasion which actually marks the transformation of the parliament, especially of the Rajya Sabha, from paper to paperless, from paper to digital. Till now, whenever members of parliament used to come in the morning for the attendance, we used to sign it in the conventional way. But the Honorable Chairman of Rajya Sabha, with his visionary leadership of transforming the Rajya Sabha and the Parliament into the digital Parliament, has been making several transformational changes. And one of that, of course, is making digital signatures as the norm for members of Parliament. This will not only ensure more authenticity, but it would also lead to a greater impact on paperless and more on the digital transformation. I think this is just another step towards Indian Parliament becoming a role model and a lighthouse for various parliaments across the world in usage of technology and especially the digital era.
पार्लियामेंट में अटेंडेंस जो डिजिटलाइज हुआ है बहुत बड़ा स्टेप है और ये आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री श्री नरेंद्र मोदी जी का विजन है डिजिटल भारत बनाने का और पार्लियामेंट में ये होना बहुत जरूरी था और आज हुआ है, बड़ी खुशी की बात है और अच्छा एक्सपीरियंस।
With its sleek architecture and advanced features, the new parliament building embodies transparency, efficiency, and inclusivity. It aims to foster greater collaboration among parliamentarians and enable a more participatory and dynamic democratic process. One of the key features of new parliament is the digital infrastructure, which facilitates a paperless working environment. Members of parliament can access legislative documents, reports, and bills electronically, reducing the need for physical paperwork and increasing efficiency. This shift not only saves time and resources, but also contributes to a more sustainable and eco-friendly approach to governance. In a landmark move towards modernization and technological advancement, India's new parliament building will surely revolutionize the way the country's legislative system operates. By embracing digital transformation, India has taken a bold step towards modernizing its governance and enhancing the efficiency and effectiveness of its legislative processes.
জয় শিবচন্ডী। খবরটা দেখা এখন যদি শুরু হয় কিবাটা এখন শুরু হবে। লাইভটা শেয়ার করবেন জয় শিবচন্ডী আর কমেন্ট চ্যানেলটা সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন, সবাই সাপোর্ট করবেন ভালো ভালো ভিডিও কন্টেন্ট দেখবার জন্য। আমার ভিডিও আমাকে দেখবা লাগবে। লাইভটা সাথে থাকবেন আর মনে করো চ্যানেলটা সাবস্ক্রাইব করে দিবেন বেশি বেশি করেই সাথে থাকবেন। নিজের ভিডিও নিজেকে দেখবা লাগবে, তাহলে মানে সাথে থাকতে হবে, তাহলে আরো অন্য জায়গাত মানে বেশি বেশি করে দেখতে দেখতে ইউটিউব আপনি অটোমেটিক বিশ্বের দরবারত অটোমেটিক খবর চলে যাবে আমার। সবাই আমার ইউটিউব চ্যানেলটার সঙ্গে থাকবেন, ডিসিপি দক্ষিণ দিনাজপুর ইউটিউব চ্যানেল। এই ইউটিউব চ্যানেলটা সবাই লাইক করবেন, সাবস্ক্রাইব করবেন, ভালো লাগলে কমেন্ট করবেন, আরো বন্ধুগুলো করবেন এই চ্যানেলটা সাবস্ক্রাইব করার কথা। এটাই আর কি। এটা মানে হিস্ট্রিটা করু তোমার রাজ্যসভার লোকসভার আগেকার সিস্টেমগুলা ওগুলাই দেখলেন। राज्यसभा लोकसभा
माननीय सदस्य
लोकसभा तो सुन लो।
माननीय सभापति के पास कुछ विषय पर स्थगन प्रस्ताव के सूचनाएं प्राप्त हुई है। माननीय अध्यक्ष जी ने स्थगन प्रस्ताव की किसी भी सूचना के लिए अनुमति प्रदान नहीं की है। सभा पटल पर रखे जाने वाले पत्र, प्लीज आप लोग बैठिए, प्लीज आप लोग बैठिए, सदन का महत्वपूर्ण समय है, प्लीज आप कोऑपरेट कीजिए, प्लीज आप लोग बैठिए।